Hey guys, welcome to Picksburgh. This is Anthony. Today we're on the way to work and we're going to do another commute with cards.
I'm from the city is new. I'm from the city is new.
So I'm just sitting here thinking, it's crazy what this market has been doing the past couple years, just with card prices continuing to nosedive. The top of my head that I own is a Colin Sexton PSA 10 base Prism card. Now, I've had multiple cards like this because I collect the Cavaliers, so anytime they get new rookies, I grab the hell out of their cards. I specifically remember selling a Colin Sexton PSA 10 base Prism card for $300 on eBay. Well, just going through some of these cards for card shows, for trying to trade on Veriswap, which I have been doing. If anyone's interested in making some deals, your boy is trying to wheel and deal over there. But here's my thing. I believe that a lot of these ultra modern cards are nothing more than depreciating assets just waiting to tank in value. Some of these cards are going to hold great long-term value, but let's be honest, most of them are not. Now, I bought collections of cards from people that collected in the 80s and the 90s. Wouldn't you know it, almost all of those cards that were in there were worth drastically less today than they were whenever they were printed back in the 80s and the 90s. Now, you are going to have some cards that are going to either A, hold value, like those are the Michael Jordan rookie cards, the LeBron James, like those type of things. Or you're going to have stuff that's going to drastically increase in value, which are going to be the stuff that's super hard to find, especially in high grade. So vintage is typically one of those things that's super hard to find in a high grade. Now, me personally, I don't invest a ton of money into high-end, high-grade vintage just because trimming scandals are everywhere in the hobbies, which most of the time, older people that collected did not hold on to their cards in such a manner. Back then, a lot of times people would top load stuff, not even use penny sleeves, or stuff in binders and get the corners nicked and stuff like that. Typically, once you get the ones that are decent mid-grade cards, those are the ones you can pretty much think aren't trimmed or altered. But for the most case, the mid-grade vintage isn't anything that you have to be overly concerned with. It's the people that are having the PSA 10s and the pop 19s. It's like, okay, did somebody trim an edge off of this, or what's the deal? These are some things that I think of, like whereas all of the modern stuff is depreciating assets unless you end up finding the next LeBron. If you find the next Tom Brady, the guy that was the 6th round pick, or could Brock Purdy just be the next in the line of quarterbacks that had immense value at one point, and then you look back at him 10 years later thinking, why the hell did I spend that kind of money on this guy? This is a reason why I've been purging a lot of the stuff that I've been deeming to be long-term holds, because to be honest with you guys, a lot of these cards are not going to be worth much long-term. So these are things to think of. Not only that, you got guys that do stupid things, like look at Josh Giddey right now. How many people had tons of money wrapped up in Wander Franco? And the list goes on and on and on. But then again, that doesn't mean that you stop the speculation game, because if you stop the speculation game, then you're not going to be the guy that, had a ton of Patrick Mahomes rookie cards when he was Alex Smith's backup his rookie year. So obviously, you want to do some level of speculation, but by the same point, you don't want to speculate so hard that one day you're sitting there with nothing but depreciated assets with, money basically flushed down the toilet. Let me give you an example. After the pandemic, I had a case full of like Zions, Michael Porter Jr.'s, and, guys that I just didn't care about. So I started going heavier and heavier into my own teams. I have like almost every single autograph that Isaac Okoro's ever put out in a set, minus like the super rare ones. Some sets like Prism Draft, I might have 5 or 6 different paralleled autographs of him. So that's stuff that I've done that's really not a great move. If Isaac Okoro was like, somebody I knew, or you know, somebody that I supported for a long time that, you know, like, even beyond him leaving the Cavs, that I would care about his card. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal to go out and buy all of those cards. But the problem is, where I bought a lot of those cards in his rookie season, a lot of them have drastically come down in value. I'm talking cards that I might have paid $20-30 for are now like sub $10, you know, because Isaac Okoro hasn't turned into the player that I'd hoped he would be. So I just want to give you guys that warning that it is a very risky game that we play, that a lot of these cards that we're dealing with are depreciating assets. For the most part, once you rip the box and get the cards, that's the height of what they're going to be. For example, if you were to send a card into PSA, even get a PSA 10, by the time it comes back, it may have already dropped in value. So now granted, PSA 10s, you're going to get a premium on that card, but say it comes back a PSA 9, you might be breaking even by the time that sucker comes back, you know, because the cards depreciate that fast. The next set comes out, people are on to chasing the next thing. And here's the thing that I personally think is the biggest thing killing the market and killing the comps. It's the auction houses. It's the consigners that literally throw up graded cards, 99 cents with zero reserve. Now, obviously, they want to make whatever money they can get, and they want to make it fast so that way they can give it back to their consignees and stuff like that. But they're killing the market value of stuff. You know what I mean? For a card like Colin Sexton, PSA 10, to sell for $300 a couple years ago, you know, I had mine listed at $30, right? Which is 10% of what I sold one for in, I believe, 2021. Now, here's the crazy thing. Last sold on that card, $7 friggin' for a PSA 10. So this is what I'm talking about. You can't even grade the card for that amount of money. You know, right now it's wild to see what's happening, you know, and we are in a junk slab era because there's so many people grading everything, trying to get a premium on it. And honestly, I've been guilty of that in the past too. I'm the guy that graded a bunch of Sekou Demboya that's literally worth nothing right now. I see people trying to sell PSA 10s of Sekou Demboya prisms at card shows for $5 and they can't move them. So I understand it. I've been that guy sending all the crap in, trying to get a premium on it, trying to flip it. But when it comes time for these cards to depreciate, somebody's going to be left holding that PSA 10 Sekou Demboya, trying to get $5 for something they paid minimum of $20 to grade. You know, doesn't make very much sense to me, guys. So these are just my 2 cents. I would love to know how you guys feel about this market down in the comments down below. I'm not super bullish on it. Now, there are certain things I'm trying to do with my PC moving forward. I'm trying to move into super primo, safe stuff that, honestly, even if I never sell it, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like my LeBron rookies. I have a Kobe Bryant rookie. I have a Walt Disney Mickey Mouse rookie. Like, that's all stuff I don't want to move. You know, I'm basically building a little hand-me-down collection that's going to be awesome that I'm going to give to my kids one day whenever I have them. So, and then everything else, honestly, guys, at this point, I'm just going to sell and flip because it's depreciating it. And unless you have the right card or the right player or subject matter, if you collect non-sports or TCG, it's just not going to matter. The cards are just going to keep going down. Will we have another boom like we had in 2021? I don't know if it'll be like 2021. I know the 90s were pretty crazy. You know, whenever I was a kid, as far as, you know, the junk wax era, people really just buying the hell out of cards. So I could totally see this happening again, you know, 20, 30 years, you know, history repeats itself. But when it does, I'm going to be there selling basically everything that's not a give to my kids one day type of card. Because when I think of all of the money I've lost, like even just on PSA 10 Colin Sextons, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm going to sell one and keep like 5. See how that worked out for me, right? Even if Colin Sexton has a all-star season, it's not getting anywhere near where it was, you know? So just keep that in mind, guys. Like, a lot of these cards can be depreciating assets. So if you're getting into any of these as an investment, just realize that there's only a certain percentage of these that are going to actually be valuable long-term. Even the, you know, Hall of Fame players like David Robinson, Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, those guys, their rookie cards aren't too valuable right now, even in a PSA 10. So think of that. You want to really have the top guys or the, if it's Pokemon, like the Charizard type characters of the sets, in order to really maintain value long term. So, and nowadays, we have the one-of-ones and all of the crazy stuff that you can chase after. I think a lot of that stuff is going to hold value if it's of the right person. But, say you have like a one-of-one Desmond Ritter, you know what I mean? Like, if that dude continues to crap himself, that card is not going to be worth anything even a year or two from now. So, these are things to think of. There's lots of money to be lost out there, guys. So buy, invest, collect wisely. But most importantly, collect what you like. Because if you like it, you're not going to care if it loses value because you're not looking to move it anyway. So that's something that I'll recommend, guys, is just continue to collect what you like and be mindful that, if you're not wise about some of these decisions, you can lose a lot of money in this space. But guys, until the next video, may God bless you. Again, I hope you leave me some comments down in the comments section, and I will see you later.
I'm from the city. I'm from the city. The city. I'm from the city.